Jason Belmonte was clean with 2 turkeys to take Game 1 from Muhammad Rafiq Ismail. Ismail entered the 10th frame of Game 2 on 3 strikes in a row. The back 6 meant Belmonte needed at least 2 strikes in the 10th.
You're playing on the Cheetah, you can expect high scores on both sides of the lane. I've seen this young gentleman play many times. He throws it really, really well, so I knew that I was going to have to bowl some pretty good games.
The front 9 for Belmonte left little doubt to Game 3's result. More striking in Game 4 eliminated Ismail and set up Belmonte to face either Andrew CAIN or Ryan CIMINELLI. CAIN set the all-time 5-game scoring record during first-round qualifying, but could not keep pace with Ryan CIMINELLI during these 4 games. Tied at a game apiece, CIMINELLI handily took Game 3, then rolled the front 8 on his way to a match-clinching 278.
He played into the game plan. He threw everything too. The plan was to take the left away, and I know I have more power than he does, so the plan was to take away the free hook and then just out-bowl him. So I said, I get one of the first 2 games and we should be good. Luckily, I barely snuck that first one out, and then changed to reactive and started to shape the ball, and he just couldn't quite get his ball through the pins.
Kim Balabi and Sam Cooley forced big games out of each other. Balabi had a chance to win the first game by filling the 10th frame.
Somehow 8 pins and 2 shots, and that's 10 in 1 shot, so that's enough.
Cooley put up 248 and 279 to take the next 2 games. In the one low-scoring game of the match, Balabi's front 4 built enough of a lead to hold on for a 2-12 victory, sending the match to a deciding 5th game. Cooley spared in the first, then posted 9 strikes in a row, securing the win with a 279. Cooley would get the winner of a very similar 5-game battle between Parker Bone III and Anthony Pepe.
You can shut out Pepe.
A bad break in the 10th for Bone gave Pepe a chance to take the early lead.
Parker is a dear friend of mine, but right now we're competitors.
Bone won the next 2.
We want it just as bad as everybody else.
Pepe struck 10 times in his Game 4 win, sending the match to 5. Bone left 1 6-pin among 11 strikes, knocking Pepe out with 279.
You just got to go out there and make every shot count. You cannot let a shot slip away.
Qualifying leader Thomas Larson traded wins with Bill O'Neill in the first 2 games. Larson then failed to strike only 4 times over the next 20 frames, registering back-to-back 258s and moving on to the next round against Francois Lau or Trey Ford III. The 17-year-old Ford earned the win in a close first game, but Lau left little doubt about the rest of the match, taking the next 3 games by comfortable margins. Graham Fah's first match play appearance at World Series of Bowling 9 was against the only player to have qualified for all 3 thus far, Jesper Svensson. Svensson finished the first game with 247, leaving the result in Fah's hand. Svensson came back with 2 big wins, putting himself 1 win away from moving on. In the 4th game, Fah rolled the back 5 strikes for 225, forcing Svensson to spare and fill 8 in the 10th to advance. Svensson awaited the finish of Norm Duke and Anthony Simonsen.
I don't think we bowled each other head-to-head before. You know, I've heard stories of growing up, Norm being in all the centers in Dallas, you know, pot bowling those guys, 18-year-old hours, bowling. Last year I had a fun match here with Parker on Scorpion, another Hall of Famer, so I'm hoping it'll be another fun match, but the young guy comes out on top.
In the first game, Simonsen piled up a 266 for a huge win. Game 2 saw Duke throw the first 9 strikes before missing and finishing with 279. Both players had problems scoring in Game 3, with Duke sneaking away with a 204 win.
We do expect large scores, but that's not a given. You might win with 172. So we try not to make the predictions. We just try to come out here and post the high score you can, and then hope that your opponent is unable to get there.
Simonsen fought back with the front 6 in Game 4, tying the match at 2. Duke's front 7 in Game 5 gave him a huge lead that ultimately closed out the match.
Man, that was a lot of work just now.
Jesper Svensson next.
Is that who I am?
That's who you get next. You get Jesper.
Good. Hey, look, this is why we bowl. We don't come out here to bowl, chumps. We want the best in the world, and we want them at their best.
Duke took the early lead with the front 4 in Game 1, but Svensson countered with the back 7.
You lose Game 1 in match play, you're in trouble.
You can't worry too much about your opponent. You have to do your frames, your shots, and all that. So it's more inspiring to bowl against one of the all-time greats, but it doesn't really worry me that much.
Svensson wouldn't let the match get to a third game. He started with 3 spares, then rolled nothing but strikes the rest of the way and eliminated the Hall of Famer.
Jesper just needs to fill some frames. That's filling a frame.
Bowled great today, so can't wait for this TV show.
The other Hall of Famer in the semifinals would suffer the same fate. Parker Bone III fell behind early in the first game, and Sam Cooley took advantage. Bone changed balls for Game 2, but left 2 big splits early. Aside from a spare in the second and a 9 count on his fill ball, Cooley didn't miss at all.
Parker's always been good on Cheetah. He struggled a little bit with pin carry the first game. Went to another ball the next game to try and improve, and just threw 2 splits where to me it looked like a good shot, and I'm sure it felt like one to him, and I was able to take advantage of those mistakes.
Thomas Larsson started fast and hung on to take Game 1 from Francois Lau. Both players strung strikes in the middle of Game 2, but Lau's string of 5 couldn't match Larsson's string of 7, and Larsson advanced to the TV finals.
Bowled a good match against Fran. Moved right every time my ball wiggled because of his urethane, and turned out I got a little bit of a good break and then threw some good shots when I had to.
In the only match to require 3 games, Ryan Ciminelli took advantage of 2 open frames by Jason Belmonte to win the first game. The second game was the opposite, with Belmonte striking against 2 open frames from Ciminelli.
I know he's going to bowl some big games, and I'm going to have to do exactly what I did now, or maybe even better, to have a crack at him.
Here's everything you need to know about Game 3.
That's official. Finishes off with 300.
Man, it feels fantastic. It really does. The shorter patterns aren't typically my favorite length of pattern, so to make a show on the Cheetah, give myself a chance to win, I'm very excited.
Watch the Cheetah Championship Finals Sunday on ESPN. Subscribe to the PBA YouTube channel and check in tomorrow for Scorpion Championship qualifying.
Get a little more in-depth at a Facebook Live press conference coming up right now. Cut the extra frame feed and get yourself over to Facebook Live.